Hello, and welcome back. I know it was only a few minutes, but I'm back in the other chair now. And with me in this chair is the illustrious and lovely Patti Negri.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. I'm having the best time. I'm getting to meet all these investigators, some that I haven't seen in a long time, and most that I've never met before, but just watched. It's great getting off the screen, but it's great for those on the screen since that's all of you right there.
Right, since all
but
of you.
It's awesome.
Yes, absolutely. So we'll dive into some background. So what got you into, when was your first experience?
I have been talking to the dead since I could talk. I remember being a toddler and knowing, almost cliche, the guy in the closet, the person under the bed, were real. And I knew they weren't imaginary friends like we're taught to believe in our non-mystical modern Western society. They were real, and I gave real information of what was going on. And I just didn't get taught out of me. My parents didn't teach it out of me. And I was always obsessed with the dead. And not in a morbid way at all. I just like talking to them. So I literally was somewhere between 7 and 8, and I wanted to do a seance. I didn't know what it was, and I wanted to lift the veil, and I didn't know what that meant. But I went in my little suburban hallway and stuffed towels under the doors where there's no windows. And okay, who do I know? Marilyn Monroe, John Kennedy, anybody I knew at 7 or 8, it's late 60s. And my little daughter, with my best friend Sherry Jones, I think I came up with my first chant and my first energetic thing. And my little windowless, lightless hall filled with orbs, shadows running, flying. It became like a discotheque. It was the best. We went running out screaming, but inside I was jumping up and down. So I've just always become a seeker from there. Once I was 13, I started studying religion, philosophy, cosmologies, belief system, science, occult science, and everything. I see energy. My gift really is, yes, I see dead people, all like this, but I see the energy, I see the cords between people. And I take it down to the through line of energy, and then belief systems all match up, paranormal all matches up when you get to the basic thing there. So
it's all because it's like a tree, the branches, but it's all one root.
Yeah, it's all one beautiful root.
Yeah.
So it's just become a part of who I am. I used to keep it really separate though for a long time because I was in Hollywood. I did run a production company, and above my path, I ended up on a very witchy pagan path because you dress better. No,
Same.
I just
it's
like
true. Those are facts.
It's like I can go to church and go like this, or I can wear a cloak and go to the forest. I'm going to the cloak.
I mean, is that even a question? Is that even a choice at that point? Cloak and forest all day long.
All day long. So I had this, it's not a secret life. I never lied, but talking to dead people, witch, but I ran this production company, and it's like they cannot know that I talk to dead people and dance around bonfires, in a cloak. They just can't. But I was a Hollywood person. I did film. I did everything. I was a producer. But in 2008, when there was a first big corporate crash, and my shows were mostly corporate entertainment. Corporate entertainment became a dirty word.
Right.
And I was doing big song and dance extravaganzas for like Microsoft and top banks around the world and casinos, and that just went cruise. And at the same time, reality TV was going build. But I kept that separate. But I remember a friend who said, okay, Patti, I've been to your seances. We need a seance for this TV show. No, I can't do it. Really, we need a seance for somebody who's legit, somebody who can do this. I can't do it. Get somebody else. Oh, please. And I'm looking at my completely empty calendar with like not a show on it. And I'm like, well, what's the name of the show? And she goes, well, it's called Mobile Home Disaster, and it's on country music television. And I go, nobody's gonna watch that. Okay, I'll do it. So I did it, and I fell in love with what it was. All real, legitimate. They follow me around with 3 cameras. I don't have to memorize lines. I helped a real little human girl. I helped a spirit. There was a portal. She had literally drawn the vortex in her ceiling of her mobile home in the middle of the Simi Valley. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to help the humans. What my real passion was doing is empowering people or showing them their power. I don't do anything. But never again. And they follow you around. All my improv background came in, everything came, but never again. And then of course it airs and it was real fun. And a first phone call was from my biggest corporate client. She's like, Patty, I saw you on TV last night. It was a big bank. I'm like, oh yeah? My voice gets high. Oh no. And I'm like, I'm never going to work for whatever again, the bank. She goes, I didn't know you were into the paranormal. I love the paranormal. And I'm like, yeah, well, me too. And I was like, screw it. I am out of the closet. I'm out of the broom closet. I'm out of the psychic closet. I'm out of the medium closet. So then it just took off. So again, being literally living in the center of Hollywood, being experienced in it, I just kind of became the go-to person to call for whatever, whether it's Nicole Richie or Bad Girls Club or Pit Boss with little people and pit dogs, or definitely just name it. It was like, yes. And now I really get to do what I do versus, teaching motivation and empowerment to the HR department, at so-and-so bank. I get to do it to little whoever in a bigger audience, and great. So it's my passion. So it's just, I've fought it for decades. It's like, no, let me do it. I've done everything else. I like at one place, no, I'm going to be a nurse, which is great to be an ENT, which I am. When somebody bursts into flames at your seance, it's really good.
It's good to know what to do. Exactly.
Right. And that only happened once. It did.
We're going to have to talk about that.
Yeah. So anyway, so it's just always been a part of who I am, and out in the public, and definitely media since 2008.
For sure. So when's so I know most people probably have seen you on a multitude of shows, but most people are probably most familiar with you from Ghost Adventures.
Yes, Ghost Adventures.
When's the first time you worked with Ghost Adventures?
First time I worked with them, it was 2015. And it was just that regular thing. They were doing a Haunted Hollywood episode. Mm-hmm. And I would have been the same person that anybody else was when they have the local investigator or the local psychic who had experienced something. They had heard, they were doing the American Legion Hall. And I had just done, I'm on the board of the Hollywood Arts Council, and I had just done this big spirit salon where everybody dressed up and my husband's jazz band played. And I gave, not the kind of investigations we do. They're sweet because everybody's in their 1940s investigations. Right. But I totally ran it. I met Charlie Chaplin, and we sat at the bar, and he explained all this stuff to me. And that's all I knew. And I didn't know that that's where he really was or anything. But the person who ran the place told Zach and the team that I pointed out Charlie Chaplin's exact chair, and I didn't even know that that's his exact chair he spent every night. So they just called me in to be that person. So I guess from there, I don't know what happened. Then I just became the go-to for seances and investigations. For sure. It's fun because I do not know what I'm getting into ever. It's so literally
you go in blind.
I completely blind. If I'm not blind, I don't get to go in with them. Okay. Places I've sent them. The places I've sent them, like Reseda House or my friend Richard Leal, who's many of us know. Yes. I go, you've got to go there, or Ripley's, I didn't even do that. Places I send them that I know. At most, I'll go introduce, these are my friends. He wants it legit. No matter what anybody thinks of Ghost Adventures, and that they don't want anything pre-planned or set or anything, or else they won't have it. So it's otherwise just, here's an address, drive here, fly to Scottsdale, go here, do this. Even the Cecil, it was like, he had called me 2 weeks before and he said, Patty, we're going to be in LA and we need you. Okay, great. 2 hours before, I get this call, we're downtown and can you get here in 2 hours? And I'm like, 2 hours? Did I wash my hair? Do I have time to put on makeup? Not that it mattered on that show. And he gave me an address. I don't think he said it was a Cecil. And then I show up, I'm like, I see the water tower and it says Cecil because it's a store. Like, oh, that's that Alyssa Lamb thing. But I didn't know. Didn't research. I didn't know. I didn't even know Richard Ramirez. I didn't know any of that. Right. So yeah, but that's what I do lots and lots of other shows, but that's just the one everybody knows.
That's the one that most people.
That's what I want people watch. But now they watch all these.
Yes, you watch all of our shows. So when you do locations like that, is that how you prefer to do things? Do you prefer to go in not knowing anything?
Yeah, I don't want to know anything. I'm a big shut down that left brain, shut down logic. I don't want to know, there was supposed to be a murder in here or there, because then you start overthinking and then you shut it down. I just want to go. It's scary though. At first, now I've gotten used to it, but it's like, what if you go in and you get crickets? What if you go in? Like, I remember this one in this Chatsworth house. I saw on the outside, it's weird. He gave me the address. I just had come. I just came in this whatever outfit. I had a coat on, but I was just doing like tarot readings at a bridal shower. Completely different world at this little shower, and then walking into this house, and he's like, just go in and tell us what happened. And all of a sudden, I'm falling down in the bathroom, and it had been this double murder, whatever. But had I known any of that, I wouldn't want to be influenced.
Right.
Even with the Cecil, it was like, get here, and after a rat let me in, but the rat didn't want to let me in.
Oh, it didn't.
I went right and the rat went right, and I went left and went left, and we're dancing in the middle of Skid Row, dancing and dancing. I'm not even afraid of rats. It's like, but I have to get in.
But I have to get in the front door.
I have to get in.
Can you please let me
and
in?
like, well, either the rat's really possessed, or else maybe he's trying to protect me. I don't know. But you get into that place and it just bombards you. If anybody's been to the Cecil, it's just, especially these, it closes in on you like madness. And I'm just like, oh God. Okay. And I start going into trance state because I allow myself there. And then the crew shows up. Hi, they've got their cameras strapped on. They go, okay, Patti, there's 700 rooms. There's 14 floors. Here's the elevator. You tell us where to go. Okay. And I did. I let them right to a window where it was really weird because it's like, if those of you who do trance state, and I know we have a lot of mediums here, it's like you're in dream state. It's dream state. You have to remember, part of me, I don't give up my whole body. I know that what it is, but I remember walking to the window and going, I got to get out of here. I'm opening the window and Zach's screaming at me. He's going, shut the window. Why are you opening the window? Shut the window. And I go into this weird little girl voice and I'm like, why is he yelling at me? Zach's never yelled at me before. And I'm opening the window and he's yelling louder. What I remember, and I said, he goes, sit down. So I sat down, and then they had the SLS with this little spirit dancing on top of me, of course. But unbeknownst to me, of the 700 rooms, I read them right to a room where somebody had jumped out that exact window. And then, well, whatever. Then we have a couple other things in halls. Not everything makes it on TV. That were great.
Right.
And then I led him to another room, and again, I'm being attacked. I'm like holding myself like a little kid who has to go to the bathroom. I'm like, oh God, and again, he's going, where are you being attacked? What's going on? And the part of me that's still Patti going, you on TV? How do you say that body part on television? I don't know. It's like, I don't even know what I said. Lady parts, and I had led him sadly to this room where this woman had been raped and murdered and had lived there. But I have to go in blind. I mean, if I don't, I just kind of shut down my mind. But they don't on that show. If they do, they just have me introduce and say what I know and go home.
And then they're like, okay,
go
fine.
home.
Well, yeah, because then the chances are, like, if you know something is going to happen, you may get a preconceived notion of something, or like, those names will pop up, and it's like, okay, did I know that before, or is that like something that's actually like coming through that I'm actually getting? Right,
and that puts your left brain thought process, and that messes you up, and then you get uncertain, and that messes you up.
Right.
No good.
And then it's just all downhill from that point. So, what's been your favorite place that you've been, that you've done, like contacted the spirits at? I think, again, favorite is a weird word. I'm gonna stay for right now. The Black Dahlia house is pretty insane, the Salad House. But I'm gonna go back to the Cecil because my second time there, I did 2 nights with Zach and the guys, and then I went back with these YouTubers I've been working with called TFIL, Elton Castee. They're like young Zachs. They're 20 something. They started out just regular prank guys, and they're great. But then they went into paranormal and became like #1 paranormal on YouTube. And we got there, and again, because they're YouTubers, there's no rules. You guys are great because you have less rules. Because I remember even with Ghost Adventures, I didn't get to go on the roof because the 2 nights I was there wasn't a fire marshal. And that was where the TFIL guys who rented the whole hotel too. I go, where is there a fire marshal? Can I go on the roof? And they're like, fire marshal? We've never had a fire marshal. They're like, we've never done that.
A fire marshal. So, but the one thing that, all sorts of crazy things, and I got to go to Lisa Lamb's room and stuff. But I did this one thing with the TFIL boys. We were in a hallway, and it was very much a flop house, and it's still there, and it's going to become a homeless whatever show. I'm scared to death what it's going to become. A great concept. It's going to be low income housing, yeah. But it's scary. But anyway, I was channeling this one person, and I thought I was talking, and I remember I was rocking because I rock anyway. But I was rocking so hard that somebody put his hand behind my head. But I thought I was just talking. All they heard was mumbling. And Corey, who's the very intuitive one of their little team, he goes, we should play that backwards. And they played it backwards, and I was talking English backwards.
Oh, wow.
That's weird. I'm like, should I put that on my resume? Can talk backwards.
Can talk English backwards.
While being possessed by a drug addict. But yeah, forward it was just blah, 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 and backwards it was, oh my God, I got to get out of here. Let me out. Let me get out.
Yeah.
Weird. So that place is just, I think it's a Stephen King film in the making, letting
For sure.
these sad people live there. I mean, these people need a home. Yes, they do. And there's 700 empty rooms there. But I think every healer, every shaman, every witch, every priest, every preacher, we should all go there at the same time and clear that
Just
place.
clear it.
Or they're going to be like ODing and jumping out the windows. Like,
it sounds like it has like a very like, because I'm familiar with the Alyssa Lamb story, and some of the other Richard Ramirez and everything is, you know, the true crime stuff that I do. But it's like, I do feel like I've never been in it myself, but I've seen it from the outside, seen it covered multiple times on different things. I feel the place has a very powerful energy, and it's a very, like you said, like a very like, it's claustrophobic energy almost. Just like a lot of things happen there that were not nice.
It's an egregore has come in and created there. There's something under the ground. Yes, there is. But there's something in the ground right through downtown, whether it's one of the ley lines, whether it's our fault lines, whether it's Native American. There's something from the ground. Because I just cleared a high-end apartment literally across the street. Wait. Excuse me. Allergies. But and it was oozing up from the ground. And this was, I had to put extra cascarilla powder on the sides. But there is something that got created there by all the desperation, all the evil, all the darkness. It is literally holding a lot of spirits there, including Alyssa Lamb. And a lot of these poor things are wandering the halls. And it is affecting living people who are there, whether like investigators, whoever goes in, or people who live there. And again, I think it is causing more overdoses and more people have jumped out of the windows there than anywhere else. More deaths, more suicides, more accidental overdoses. So I'm a little worried.
Yeah,
as in 2 weeks, it happens on November 12th. It becomes a
yeah, because I think I reached out at one point to try to get in contact with people who owned it to see if we could get in there with either New Reality or Haunted Side, and I was not able to get in there with anybody. But I saw it was being turned into like these low-income apartments and stuff, and I was like, really hope they stage the crime.
I know.
Like,
Me too.
It's rough. So I was going to ask you about Alyssa Lamb. So she is still there.
She is still there.
Did you speak with her directly?
I a little bit, not much. She almost avoided me, really, because I went into like the two rooms she stayed in. I went into one room, and it had been turned. I swear to God, it's like a party room for the spirits.
They just all hang out in there.
They hang out in there. They get high. It's like everybody's in there, like going, "We didn't take anything. We didn't drink anything.
We're fine. We had 2 drinks."
But it's like she would. You guys have all experienced that. She would dart away. I talked to her a little bit, but she was almost like embarrassed by what it had become and what has become. She was just this girl, you know, and it's become this whole thing. And I think it's turned into this thing. But we, with the TFIL boys, we did get to go on the roof. I did a seance on the roof under the shadow of the things. We actually opened a Dybbuk box from The Conjuring. I was like, yeah. It's crazy, but they're cute. This is where I came with my job is to keep them safe as I throw them off the roof.
Right. As whoop.
Bye.
Goodbye. Where do you go? No. Do you feel like there's definitely like a portal or something?
Definitely. And something, again, like how poltergeists, how people create poltergeists. This is so big. It's this huge old egregore, something. It's got life of its own like I've never seen.
And it's almost like keeping, like you said, it's like a whirlpool almost, where it's like keeping the spirits there.
Yeah, it's keeping spirits there, and it's messing up living people.
That's
even you go talk to the security guards. They're scared. You know,
they don't like. I was like, I imagine it's probably hard to keep a security job there. Like people probably work there for like a week, and they're like, here's my stuff, I'm leaving like immediately. So. Going off of that, so like, do you have like, what is your most disturbing experience you've had?
Ooh, my most disturbing experience. I think it was honestly when somebody burst into flames.
I wanted to get back to that.
Okay. I did not want that on my resume.
No.
My neighbor's house. Actually, I live in the Hollywood Hills, an old 1920s, beautiful old movie star. And this house itself was built by Charlie Chaplin for one of his many girlfriends. I'm just blanking out on the name of her. Anyway, and it was a party house from 20s, 30s. And you guys know, party houses, big drug and alcohol use, call in lots of dark energy.
For sure.
It was party house. And then in the 60s, the Rolling Stones manager bought it. So the Rolling Stones stayed there, the Mamas and Papas, Graham Parsons, all sorts of cool beasts. So the house obviously drew creative, somewhat dark, chaotic people. Then they moved out, and the person who invented the real life sex doll moved in. And then he
This
moved
house
out,
has
and
history.
then my neighbor, Marilyn Manson, moved in. And,
Okay.
and lived and recorded. He lived there for 7 years, and then it got too scary for Marilyn after his girlfriend did a killer thing at the house. And he was recording in the dirt basement, and it's always the dirt basement. And so anyway, and then these young filmmakers, and they were doing it. It's called the Mary Astor House. That was a girlfriend, and they were doing a documentary, and they had me do a seance. I'm like, yes. I wanted to get in there. And it was a bunch of young people around the table. And if you guys know, you work with young people that pass puberty, but not too far into their 20s, there's so much life force. There's always extra paranormal activity, always extra stuff. There's so much life force. So around the table, this typical old 1920s looks like a haunted house, looks like it was built, everything spirits, like almost built like Masons, like, oh, that's like sacred geometry. There's a 4-level press. There was literally, I work at Compass, there was a compass drawn in the wood floor as you walk in the door. So it fit the part, but we were getting all this great information. We were using a Ouija board, which I've, again, safely used since I was 8. But this one kid kept getting disrespectful, and that's my one rule. Believe, don't believe, be a skeptic, but you gotta be respectful, because whether you believe it or not, spirits don't like to be disrespected. That's why I'm so glad that investigators now don't do all that stuff, you know, very rarely. Yeah, but anyway, this one kid was just becoming this idiot. Maybe because he was on TV, we got 4 cameras. But so first, cool things were happening. Like the French doors flew open and everybody's screaming and screaming. The producer side of me is going, oh, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty good.
Special effects. I'd never fake anything. And then that happened again. And then there was like old school speakers sitting on the floor. And then they came on with this white noise that's it like sounded like a spirit box. And then we looked later and it wasn't even plugged in. Excuse me again, dry. So anyway, so all this stuff was happening, but it was building, and I felt it building, and it was building. And it's like, oh my God, this is not good. All of a sudden, we're working the Ouija board. We're doing something about that dirt basement, something that had happened in the late 20s. And all of a sudden, not the kid, he said something really, really asinine, but the cameraman facing him burst into flames. Literal spontaneous combustion, no fireplace behind him, like a V up its back, angel wings of fire, burst into flames. 2 cameras caught it. One camera just like hit the ceiling or hit the floor.
Right, just out of shock.
It's just like, his camera, he's facing away, wondering why everybody's screaming and pointing at him.
Did he feel it at all?
He did not at first, but then, you know, me, for again, cool witch medium Patti becomes medic Patti. I'm like, drum and roll, and rolling around, just get that out, we are done. And I'm calling in my guardians to shut the whole thing down. I shut it down, we are done, I don't care what we're filming.
Right.
I'm sorry, nobody burst into flames on my watch. This is not okay. But the guy who caught on fire was a super skeptic. He's a beautiful filmmaker. He made the Bronies films. He's Laurent Malachi. He has a film or 2 on Paraflix now. He was already a filmmaker. He's like, oh God, no, I'm okay. And I'm watching the blistering on his back. You're not okay. But he goes, his shirt burned off him, like poofed off him. Like it was a synthetic, but it was cotton. It should not have poofed off him. Like, oh God. So because I have a sweater, I'm okay. I talked to the spirits. I'm like, we're not even going to get rid of you at the end. Even they weren't demons. It was just a cranky ass ghost.
It was a cranky ass ghost.
Again, it's not demons, you guys. When it's a demon, you know it. Even bursting in flames still wasn't a demon.
Yeah, still was just a really angry ghost.
So anyway, but he's like, no, we're going to do it. And the kid was obviously going to be really good now. He became
was like,
the choir boy.
Okay.
He's not going to say another word the whole night. So we finished it up, and we got all sorts of information. After we did it, the glass flew from as far as that chair across, nobody near it from the kitchen. I'm like, okay, you guys, you like it like this, all right. But the coolest thing about that was, which turns the weirdest experience and scariest into the best, is that the guy who caught on fire, he showed me, he goes, Patti, look at my back. He showed me the small of his back. 3 weeks later, it totally had looked like he had went and got a tattoo of, I'm so sorry. I took a Claritin. I should not have done that. It totally looked like he had got a tattoo of a dragon. Really? Open mouth, sharp teeth, winged head into the shape of a serpent right across the small of his back. And that is the exact energy I called in to shut down the seance. I work dragon magic. It's crossroads magic. It's beautiful, powerful magic. Those are my guardians at the door. And I'm like, oh my God, you have a tramp stamp on your
I'm
back.
a dragon.
I'm a dragon. That is so cool. And he thought it was cool too. He actually, no, I'm waiting. They haven't done it yet. He wrote a movie, a horror movie about a TV psychic medium who does every TV show basically about me. And then something opens and a portal opens and then it becomes a horror film.
Right.
And he wrote it actually, I wish they would do it with Stephen Dorrington, the guy who wrote League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and the Blade series, who's very left of center of Hollywood, now very non-Hollywood, but they haven't done it yet. But I sat down with him for 5 hours and I go, Laura, you cannot say that on a script. He goes, but you said it. I go, I know I said it, but that opens a portal. You don't want to be one of those cursed horror films, do you? Spirits don't know the difference of that's something written on a script in real life. It's sound or activated, it's tone activated. So if they ever do it, 5 hours, we made up words so that the audience won't know the best, but all the actors won't die, in a car accident.
Cursed, yeah, exactly. On the way back in a bus, they all go off a cliff and die.
Yeah.
Like, let's not do that. There's a whole documentary series, there's a documentary series on Shudder, I believe, that's cursed films in Hollywood, and it's like, let's not add it to that.
No,
let's not add it to that at all. If somebody could run and get me a bottle of water for Patty.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry about that.
No problem. It is very dry here.
It is.
It's very dry, even though it's snowing, very cold outside. It's still very dry in Nevada,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of
It's
needs
just
and things.
just dry.
Just dry. So we'll go ahead and open it up to Q&A, and we'll get her a water really quickly. But does anyone have questions for Patty? I saw a question there first, Janine.
Yes, when you were at the Cecil, you said that you were in the hallway and that you were speaking English backwards. Did you feel that presence at the time in you? Like, do you become that person? Like, what do you feel when
you're my hero. What I feel when I do trance channeling, what I feel is I'm literally letting somebody into my body. It's like I'm sharing my body with somebody. That's why I get weird body movements anyway. I just always have. But then it's like you become like Joe Cocker or something. I'm literally sharing a body with somebody. But I just, again, done this my whole life, studied my whole life. This energetic thing that I just know how much I can give up and not, because I want to be able to kick them out when I need to kick them out.
When you're like, okay, you're done. Go back.
Yeah, you're done. I'm not keeping you.
You don't get to stay.
But yeah, it's a trip. So it's like dream state. When you've been that half dream, was I dreaming? That's what it feels like when you're in it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I saw a question over here. Yeah.
Last night we were watching the investigations and you started off, I don't know if you call it prayer, but you were talking about opening and unveiling and Mother Earth and just the elements, and I had never seen you do that before on Ghost Adventures, so I wasn't sure if that's your normal practice and what it kind of means.
It is my normal practice, and I do it because I ended up with a very elemental shamanistic spirituality. Again, I work with all of them because versus, none of it's true, it's all true, but people understand. If I start going at, the blood of Christ or this or that, I'm going to offend some people. Somebody might be Jewish and not unto Jesus. Somebody might be this, but everybody understands elements. They understand the strength of a tree, the flow of this. It's been part of magic and shamanism, like Native Americans, like Peruvians, like any shamanic people. So that is my belief system. I'm a pagan, I'm a witch. And even if I wasn't, that would be how I choose to use it. Because again, you can't really offend anybody. You can, and I always say, call in your angels, call in Jesus, call in Moses, call in anybody you want. So long as it's positive and so long as it's good, all are welcome. And I do that on Ghost Adventures. You just don't get to see it on TV. We actually, and I know you guys all do this, so you've all crossed over people when needed, when those shades. I mean, to me, most ghosts are fine. Most ghosts are good. Every once in a while, those ones who don't know they're dead. That's literally that go to the light, Carol Ann, go to the light. And we create the way I do it. There's a million right ways to do it. There's a million right ways to set up your protections. But I create this light ball, which we do, and then we send it to the middle and make this beam me up Scotty thing, and then invite the spirit into it. We did that at the Black Dahlia house, not to Elizabeth Short. We didn't cross her over, but this other girl that we were there with Fauna Hodel, the granddaughter and probable daughter, because there was an incest thing, of the doctor who did all the murders. He did, alleged, but he did. He told me. I channeled him. But anyway, we crossed her over. Tamar, the mother, wouldn't die. She was in hospice on her deathbed, and she made her daughter, Fauna Hodel, promise that she would help this girl, that spirit she ran into. So she came in with Zach, with Aaron, with everybody. We did this whole create the light, send it in. We crossed her over. We saw it. We felt it, everyone at that exact moment. And of course, you're never going to see that on TV. It just doesn't fit the style of their show. But yes, that is my regular way to do it. I could cut it way down. I could cut it way out. I can make it whatever. But, and within it, I'm calling it my dragons and my angels and everything else. But I haven't figured out how to offend anybody that way yet and make people understand what we're doing. But good observation, thanks. Which we will do at the seance tonight too.
Yes.
And then I add some Victorian spiritualist stuff.
Heck yeah. Aren't you guys are lucky ducks out there. Sean.
So obviously, if you don't know, she's a teacher, but what part of teaching do you like the best?
I like light bulbs that go on. It's not because why I do all of this, and especially I have a private practice, like Sean has a private practice, and you work with people. People are amazing and they don't know it anymore. Everybody's given away their power. We give away our power to other people. We give away our power to fear. We give away our power to limiting belief systems about ourselves or about life. And it's just, we are divine beings and we have free will. That free will trumps all sorts of stuff that we can just take your power back. So in working with people, it's like, I say this all the time, just like you said that deja vu. Well, I'm going to write it in a book and then I'm going to teach it. And then if I teach it, then I don't have to say it all the time. Page 6, or come to my class on, psychic development or mediumship development. But I really like, it's that little, wait, there's another way. Take that power back. That's why even some of not stupid TV, but stupid TV I do, like Bad Girls Club, or it's like somebody's going, well, aren't you're lowering yourself to do with a bunch of fighting girls locked in a house, or all the kids stuff I do. Like, no, to be there and be clearing a house of the Bad Girls Club or whatever, and have somebody going, we don't have to fight all the time. You can empower this corner over here with this. You can clear it. And they go, wow, to take your power back, you get to a whole new audience. So whether I'm teaching, whether live with or via a stupid TV show or at my school, University Magicus, it's just seeing people going, wow, I never thought of that before. I could do that.
When they get those aha moments.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have a question right back there? That gentleman right behind Ben, and then we'll get to you, Ben.
I know some people who done mediums and they've had day trippers, or they've had connection with Robin Williams. I think this sounds crazy, right? What have you had day trippers, or you let someone in that's like, hey, call me all the time? Talk to me anytime you want.
I love playing with celebrities though, but no, because once I was on another kind of dumb TV show, a cooking show, so the food was, but we were supposed to call in Marilyn Monroe, Frank Sinatra, Marlon Brando, and Elvis. So I had the cooking people make their favorite food, and then I had them put in certain herbs and oils the way I work, that were edible. Marlon Brando came in and is like, what the hell are you? It's like, I guess that was the day when you did movies or you did TV, and he certainly was above doing TV, no matter. It's like, I'm sorry, Mr. Brando, we're gone. But I have the world's biggest on-off switch. That's what's kept me sane since I was this big. I don't want to be Long Island medium in the grocery store seeing your dead grandmother. And I mean, I love her, and people know she's there because there's a crew. You guys know that. It's not like she walks up to somebody in the grocery stores and starts talking about whatever. There's a camera, there's stuff. But I just want to go for produce. So I have, when I was
like, I just want my lettuce. That's all I wanted.
I have an on switch and an off switch. And now I've gotten fancy with dimmer switches and everything. But it keeps you sane, because the day-to-day life, I don't want to be bothered by spirits. Because you guys all know, just like Sean said, you guys who do this all have some sort of gift, or you wouldn't even want to do this. You wouldn't be intrigued by it, be like, oh, those stupid ghost people. So you all have it. So spirits walking by are going to go, they're asleep at your neighbor's house, they're asleep at your next neighbor's house, they're a skeptic, and they see you and go, oh, they can see me or smell me or hear me or taste me, so they're going to go there. So I don't want that. It's like an open sign on your house or on your desk when we go to bed. So on, off. And it makes the on that much stronger. Yeah. It totally makes the on. Again, in witchcraft, we lay down our broom. The witch's broom is called the Bessel. Mm-hmm. And we don't fly to the sky. I'm working on that. I haven't
I
figured
know, I
that
haven't figured it out yet either.
But we travel between the worlds, between this world, and then we travel between the realms, just like what you would do in a mediumship or seance, or what we do with paranormal stuff. So again, we would lay down the broom. On this side of the broom is the regular world, and then you cross over here in the magic world where fairies and ghosts and magical things and then you cross back. So that's been my saving grace. So nobody just gets to walk in.
Yeah, it's exhausting too. That's a drain.
It is, yeah,
It's a
it takes
drain.
all
If you
your
would have
energy.
like to have that on all the time, it's draining, physically and emotionally draining. Does anyone else have a question for Patty? Ben?
I've been trying to think of the best way to ask this. So portals have always intrigued me. Is there a way that you can describe how you see portals and what you see? I guess?
Yeah, what I see portal vortex, because I see energy, I see this energy thing. Some are created, like Sean was saying, created, cool, let's stick two mirrors together. I mean, we can create all sorts of stuff ourselves. Some are just natural. The Hollywood Hills, there's one kind of near the Hollywood sign I've been going to since forever. It's not marked, but every time you go there, it draws in people, draws in. I've seen nuns praying, lovers kissing, musicians playing, actors rehearsing, all in this thing that's not marked. And these portals are all through the Hollywood Hills. I swear that is why Hollywood is right where it is, not 50 miles this way or 50 miles. It drew in the more right brain, the creative, the artists, the writers, the dreamers, the actors, and the religious. Right by my house, under the sign, we've got like a monastery, we've got Self-Realization Fellowship, we've got the Vedanta Society, we've got the Scientologists, we've got like every religion. It draws in the creatives, the right brain people, and it goes through to Malibu, all the thing where we've created this world. And Sedona has amazing places. Shasta, there's portals all over the world and vortexes, and they each have their own life force, just like each person here has their own feel and life force. They do too. And that seems to be a thing that spirits can go through.
Question right here in the front.
Sorry, and when you were talking, I just realized something about, we're both mental health therapists, and people always ask us, like, don't you keep that stuff home? And I just realized when you were talking, it's that on and off switch.
Yeah.
You hear terrible things all day long, and then you can't just take it into your private life.
No,
But I was also wondering, have you been to the Goldfield Hotel, and do you feel like there's a portal there?
I have never been to the Goldfield Hotel, so I don't know. I have not. But if you feel there is, there probably is. Again, yeah.
I've been outside of the Goldfield Hotel. And it's my determination to get in there. I have to catch the lady because I guess you literally have to catch her like in person. And I was like, I don't care. First of all, Goldfield freaks the crap out of me. I don't know why. I never see people walking around during the day. It's the weirdest thing about that town. There are people that live there, but I never see anybody. So I'm like, are there vampires in this town? Does no one come out during the day? What is going on? So you just need to like literally catch her because she doesn't like have an email or anything. It's the person that has the keys and everything for the building. So I'm like, I'm gonna catch her one day. Let me in there. Does anyone else have a question for Patty? Are there any questions on the chat? I haven't seen them. If anyone could check the chat.
Let's talk about Willow. How's Willow?
Willow's a bad dog. She's great. She's naughty girl. She's home. My poor husband, I've been on the road literally every single weekend for 2 months now. Like that's like at least 3 days a week. It's like Michigan home, New York home, Tennessee home, Arizona home, here home, Massachusetts twice. So she's not got the best training because that's like the daddy lets her get away with everything. So I'm going to get a real trainer when we get back because she flunked out of Petco puppies.
Oh no.
She's bad, but she's great. She's the best thing.
Free will.
Looks like we might have 2 questions from the chat. Did you have one?
I don't know.
Okay. I think there's one back there.
I did see one on the chat. It says, does Patty think spirit possession is a better treatment than traditional or non-traditional medicines?
Oh, I'm up being a Libra. I think there's a place for everything. I'm about balance. Even in regular medicine, I will mix Western medicine with alternative medicine. I do think it's something that does need to be taken into consideration, though, because when you see this crazy person, as we call them on the street, it's like, are they schizophrenic? Are they just nuts? Or are they possessed? Or all of the above?
Or all 3. Yeah, check all the boxes.
So I think both.
Yeah, I think there's a place for,
Yeah,
agree, there's a place for both
Yeah.
of those things where it's like, because people maybe tend to forget that spiritual wellness is important as well. So
Yes.
spiritual wellness is integral to your physical wellness.
yes,
If your spirit is sick, then you do not feel well.
yes,
So you have to treat that too.
yes.
Are there any other questions for Patty or any other questions from the chat? Gentleman back there.
Do you have a bucket list location you'd like to
That's
go?
an excellent question.
Yeah, well, in the US, and I don't know why I'm obsessed with it, because I've never been like a big history buff or a war buff. I've got to get to Gettysburg, and I haven't.
That's a good one.
I hear such great things about it. I really want to get there. And then I think, I mean, I haven't been to the Conjuring House. I definitely want to go there as far as the States. And then Europe. I've done one castle in France and it was crazy. So next year I'm doing this whole tour of Ireland. I think that's sold out. And then I'm doing with Sebastian, my partner, Romanian castles. If anybody wants to go to Dracula's castle for Bram Stoker's 125th
Yes, please.
anniversary, it's going to be a kick-ass. And I want this to be a big old paranormal magical thing.
Yes.
So, but Virginia, I love Virginia City. I've been there, yeah. Gettysburg is the first thing I go up to.
That place is crazy.
Yeah, so I hear. I don't know why.
Yeah, me either. I've never been there either, but it's
Yeah.
like definitely like feel a spiritual tie to that place for sure. That I won't like I gotta go back there. We're gonna go there.
Yeah.
I gotta go see
Yeah,
it. And then so you have a puppy.
I do have.
So
That's weird.
is your I'm gonna ask you as a witch, as a fellow witch. Is your dog your familiar?
No, I don't know if she can learn to be, but she's too young at this
She's too
point.
little.
She's so
Yeah.
young because my last dog was, but this girl, she's not, or she's just too young. It's like you can't have a familiar that's bouncing off the wall.
Exactly. That's hyper and like all over the place. You're like,
because I do
Yeah.
this thing. Look at your eyes. Are my eyes? Are your eyes? Wait, where'd you go?
And she's like, huh?
And don't bite my finger. It's like, give
She's
me
like-
my shoes.
She's
back.
like, snacks? Please don't eat my shoes.
Yeah.
Sean.
So spirit guides, do you believe in them?
I do.
Okay, so when did you meet your first spirit guide?
Because I am against so energy and I'm so anti naming things. I probably again that same 3 and 4. I think even some of those were off-worlders and stuff. That those little friends I went, and now I go, were those aliens? Were those angels? Were those one and the same?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they've always been there. Yeah, I think we have different kinds of spirit guides. Again, I'm a teacher, you guys. I think we have the inner band, which are there from birth to death. I think we have the outer band ones that just show up when you need them. We have the animal familiars and the totem animals. We have the angelic realm. We got a lot of help.
Love everything about that.
Great answer.
Yeah, thanks.
So,
Are there any other questions?
Sorry, you're talking about animals, can you connect with people down there on the other side?
Yes, I must say, both living and dead, and even more dead. It was so weird. Some of the first people that come to a seance is the animals. I was like, who had the 3-legged poodle with the dyed pink hair? It's like, oh, that's Poofy. Well, Poofy's here.
Poofy's here.
You know, or some dog from childhood. And with living animal, I don't call myself an animal communicator or anything like that, but because I know people who are way better than I, and I can't. The cat won't tell me why the cat's peeing out of the litter box. Like they will some animal communicator.
Right.
I don't know. Clean the litter box. But yes, I do.
Sir?
Yeah, I had a paranormal investigation for my kids in our house. And my relatives are very strong. They love to be around me and they love to be around family. And a paranormal investigator came over, David Deerfield, came in front door and ran out. And then he came back. And I had some protection with him. Is there any place that you have been, like, had that problem happen to you?
Well, I like a challenge. I like to go scary places. So no, and to run out and bring protection, I always have protection with me, whether I protection oil, and you guys know the biggest portal on your body is right here. If you're using protection oil, whatever, put it right here where your head and neck go together, because this is part of that whole crown of illumination, and this is why when you bow your head to pray, you open that up for God, for spirit. So put your protective oils there, or rub it shut when you need, or rub it open when you need. But no, I like a challenge. Some going into a scary place, like even going back to Ghost Adventures, Zach does it to me all the time. Like the one episode in the museum when I'm just like locked in a gypsy booth, whatever, all this stuff. And he goes, come with me to talk to this little, come meet with somebody, with lady. And he walks in and this little tiny, unassuming English woman who wanted to kill me. I had no idea that she was doing a dark magic ritual around Ed Gein's cauldron.
Oh, boy.
I didn't know it was Ed Gein's cauldron until I saw it on TV a month later. I'm like, ew. Of course, it wasn't her. She was probably a fine witch, Wendy, but she was doing dark rituals at Gein that wanted to hit me with a shovel. And then even the next time we were doing excuse my language, clusterfuck, a 4-hour live thing, because ghosts don't know break for commercial. Ghosts don't know break for commercial. But we knew who everybody was there. I was there and everybody was there. I was total fangirling. Josh Gates emceed it, and Chris Fleming was there, and Joshua Warren, and Justin Spurrier before he was regular on the show, and the Perrys were there, and everybody was there. And I was there, just Gary Galka, and we're in the green room. We all knew each other. We were staying at the same hotel. Then all of a sudden I go in and Zach's the same thing. And this is before people got to go into that dark basement. It's been cleaned up. He's like, oh, and when you go in, and she's there again. She was doing some dark ritual in the basement.
The basement is wild.
So he does that to me. So, but again, I love that. I like a challenge. I don't want to go, jump off a mountain or anything like that. But I like a challenge that I think I can handle.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Does anyone else have any questions or any other questions in the chat? I can't see it from here.
Let's see this.
I think I'm behind in the chat. So
Yeah, there is one. Someone said, how do you find out who or what your spirit guides are?
How do you find what or who your spirit guides are was the question. Ask. Whether there's lots of practices to do. Do a meditation, do a journey session. There's lots of stuff you could even find online. It is a place where you have to kind of go in to do it. You can ask for signs and things. Number one, it's the intent, it's the desire, as is with everything in the world, to ask and then to look.
What do you suggest the average person says when we want to leave a place and not take anything home with us?
I say, I'm leaving and I'm not taking anything home with me.
all you have to do is say that.
You really have to say that. I literally sometimes, I actually do have a lot of physical things that I do, because I'm a big believer in that mind, body, spirit, or in witchcraft creation, working dispatch. You have to believe it, you have to take action, and then the spirit is the magic or power behind it. So I will say, you must stay here, whatever it is. And I do believe in, whenever you can, speaking out loud. There was a question earlier about, can they read your mind? Yes, they can read your mind. But with anything, when you say it out loud, your voice has power in it, just like magic, why singing is magic. The tone, every vowel, every consonant affects you. I do a lot of Heka work, which is Egyptian magic. So your breath that's coming out of you when you speak out loud is your pneuma, it's your life force. The moisture in your breath when it comes out of you is your free will. That's why some cultures spit like, oh, what a pretty baby. You don't have to spit. But so if you go, nothing else is to come. You are to stay here or go wherever. I am not taking anything home into a physicality. That's what you do. I'm a big believer in sigils and symbols. The Helm of Awe, that 8-sided little cross that everybody does now. I don't go on investigations rarely without them on stuff I don't know what I'm getting into. It's a little 8-sided cross medallion, but work with them whatever your belief system and whatever. I'm a big Palo Santo girl. I'm not a big sage girl. I think it's harsh for most things, but Palo Santo will get rid of the bad, not the good. Like Billy on the show is Mr. Palo Santo everything.
I love the smell of Palo Santo. Some people hate it, but
I love it.
I'm like, you would, demon. I was like, I carry my sigil. I have a tattoo of the Eye of Horus on my back.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
it's just like I just carry
I
that
love the
with
Eye
me.
of Horus.
Yeah.
I love the evil eye. I'm of Turkish descent, so
Yeah.
it's, work with your truth and the natural thing that's in whatever it is. Good questions.
Excellent questions. Excellent questions, you guys.
Yeah, they're good.
Nobody has any other questions. We're going to go ahead and wrap up.
Okay.
And then, so thank you, Patti. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sitting up here and answering all our questions and telling us about your experiences and everything. It's fascinating stuff. And then, of course, where can they find you? You're on Paraflix, so just like let us know where they can, all the stuff they can find you
Okay,
on.
I'm one of the 3 partners of Paraflix, so go to Paraflix, be on Paraflix. We have a lot of really great content producers here, and we're looking for really great content producers. And those of you who like the stuff, which you all do, just subscribe. It's cheap. It's less than Starbucks.
Yeah.
Also, PattiNegri.com is my home base. You can get to my YouTube. Facebook, it's Patti Negri Psychic Media. Instagram, it's Patti.Negri, not Patti-Negri. I have way too many fakes. I will never contact you and tell you you need a rating and ask you for your credit card, and that doesn't stop. I don't. So just make sure it's legit. Twitter. I have a podcast called The Witching Hour, and I just dropped one today, a new one called Patti Negri. And that's I'm going to interview you.
Of course.
The best in the business of the magical world, the witchy world, but the spiritual world in general. And it's everywhere you can get podcasts, Apple, Spotify. But my home base is the new myparanormal.net, which is actually Ghost Adventures, people. The new myparanormal.net is owned by Michael Uden, and it's a new home base hub. And they were part of this too, that we are collabing a lot with Paraflix. But Bridget Marcourt's got her show, Sam Beltrusis, Jiwon Chan, all sorts of great stuff. So myparanormal.net, check that out, PattiNegri.com, and Paraflix.
And you have a book as well? That
I have a
you'll be
book, and I'm going to have that out here.
She'll be having it.
It's a super simple book. It's called Old World Magic for the Modern World, Tips, Tricks, and Techniques to Empower and Create a Life You Love. And it is because I never have time. I have time. So it's fast ways. Yes, it's great to meditate for an hour, but here's how to pull it together in 30 seconds.
Right.
How to turn your daily shower into a magical ritual or a bath or a spell working and, everything. How to talk to dead people, how to lose weight, how to find love, the basics,
All the
but in a
basic
super
things.
simple, easy to read book.
That's amazing. And I want a copy. Like I'm going to get myself one. So thank you so much, Patti.
Thank you.
Thank you so
guys
much.
all
She'll
for
be
your
at the
time.
exhibit hall.